Okay, good morning everyone. Today I'm going to present my recent works. My title is The Validation Cases for Multiple Circular Cylinders on a Set-by-Set Arrangement. My name is Joshua Heru Irawan and my supervisor is Professor Ming Ji Chern. Okay, and then this is my outline. First I will present about the introduction, and then the second is motivation of study, and then the theoretical background, and then I will present two results. The first result is flow past two cylinder in set-by-set arrangement at Reynolds number 500. And then the second result is vortex-induced vibration of upper circular cylinder in set-by-set arrangement at Reynolds number 500. And then the conclusion, and then my future work. As we know that the presence of the bluff body, for example, a circular cylinder in the fluid flow will produce the vortex behind the cylinder, or usually in fluid mechanics we call it von Karman vortex threads. This vortex also produce the alternating lift in this body, and then once the frequency of the vortex or the frequency of the force is close enough to the structure natural frequency, this bluff body will start to oscillate and enter to the synchronization or the lock-in with the fluid flow, or usually in the fluid mechanics we call this phenomenon as vortex-induced vibration. This VIV phenomenon also can happen in some engineering structure, for example riser pipe, and then offshore structure or chimney. As we can see that this structure also consists of some cylindrical structure that can produce the VIV phenomenon. And then for some engineering structure like chimney or riser pipe, we want to diminish the effect of VIV phenomenon because this effect can break the structure. There's some example how engineer diminish the VIV phenomenon. For example, they put strike along the cylinder span to break the formation of vortex shading. With this kind of strike, we can minimize or we can diminish the effect of VIV phenomenon in the some structure, especially in the cylindrical structure. VIV can also be used for renewable energy. For example, this vortex bladeless wind turbine, and then the VIVES or vortex-induced vibration aquatic clean energy. And those energy converter capture the energy from the wind by resonance phenomenon or lock-in phenomenon produced by vortex shading. And the principal work of those energy converter is from alternating vortex of vortex and vortex shading will produce the alternating force, and then when the frequency of the force or frequency for the alternating vortex close enough to the structure natural frequency, so it will produce the high vibration amplitude or alternating movement, and then those converter will convert this vibration to the electricity using kind of linear alternator. And then our objective is to investigate the VIV response on elastically mounted cylinder structure for energy harvesting device, for example VIVES. And then in the previous report we have done with a single cylinder, and then now we move to the multiple cylinder because for the use of the energy converter we need more efficiency, so we can reach more efficiency with install with multiple cylinder. Okay, and then for the theoretical background, we use direct forcing immerse boundary or DFIB to solve the filter-Navier-Stokes equation. We use filter-Navier-Stokes equation because we run our case in the turbulent flow regime, and then we calculate the effect of the turbulence using this new SGS or new subgrid scale in the diffusion term. And then first we calculate the first intermediate velocity by involving the convection and diffusion term, and also the turbulent effect. And then the second step we calculate the second intermediate velocity by involving the pressure term, and then the final step we calculate the final velocity by involving the virtual force, and then we calculate the virtual force by using the volume of solid function or eta function. Okay, and then for the turbulent effect we use large eddy simulation to calculate the turbulent effect. Then we use smart Gordinsky-Lillie model to calculate the new SGS. And then we also calculate this strain retensor using a central difference scheme. And then based on this equation, we have one additional parameter, CS, or Smagoritsky constant. The value of CS is 0.1 until 0.2, but for our case we use CS equal to 0.1 for all cases. Then for the VIV modeling, we use the mass spring damper system, and then we solve this equation 11 along with a filter Navier-Stokes equation. But we should split this equation 11 into two first order ODE, equation 12 and equation 13, and then we solve equation 12 and 13 using fourth order Runge-Kutta method. Then from equation 12 we will get the new structure position to update the eta function, and then from equation 13 we get the new structure velocity to update the new velocity in the final velocity calculation in the DFIB method. And then based on equation 11, we have three additional simulation parameter. The first, reduced velocity or UR, and then mass ratio or M star, and then the damping ratio or zeta. The reduced velocity represent the structure behavior in the fluid flow, and then the M star represent the mass of the structure, and then the zeta or the damping ratio represent the stiffness and then the damper of the structure. And then for the moving structure grid modeling, we use immerse boundary method because immerse boundary method have some advantage. For example, we use fixed grid and structure grid, which is very accurate method, and also low computational cost because we use the fixed grid, so we do not need to remeshing or regenerate the mesh for each time step. This immerse boundary method, it's very efficient compared with a body fitted method, because in body fitted method we need remeshing, and we also use distorted grid or unstructured grid, which is inaccurate and also high computational cost. Okay, and then for the first test case, we run flow past 2 cylinder in a set by set arrangement. Our simulation parameter are the gap between cylinder equal to 1, and then the Reynolds number equal to 500, and then the upstream distance between inlet and the cylinder around 20, and then the downstream distance between cylinder and then the outlet 30, and then the cross flow distance equal to 40. And then we use a uniform velocity in the inlet, and then the zero gradient in the outlet, and then the symmetry for the two cross flow boundary, and then periodic for the two span waist boundary. And then also we use no slip boundary condition for the solid structure. Then we run three cases. The case 1 is the base case. We use span waist equal to 4, and then delta z or grid spacing in the span waist direction equal to 0.2, and then y plus equal to 2.9, or the grid spacing near the cylinder equal to 0.05, and the total number of grid 1.5 million. And then we try with the different span waist, and then with also the different span waist grid spacing for the case 2 and then case 3 to see the effect of the span waist, and then to see the effect of the grid spacing in the flow past 2 cylinder in a set by set arrangement. Okay, before I talk about my result, I'm going to talk about the aerodynamic characteristic of for flow past 2 cylinder in a set by set arrangement. Based on the previous result from experimental and also from numerical study, when the gap between two side by side circular cylinder is less than 1.2 d, and the gap flow was biased toward one side, resulting in the formulation of the narrow wake behind the cylinder and wide wake behind the other. Or usually we identify NW for narrow wake and then WW for wide wake. And then the cylinder with narrow wake has much stronger oscillations of the aerodynamic force than the one with wide wake. The base gap flow is bistable and switch from one side to the other at irregular interval of time or in the random way. This flow regime is known as the flip-flopping regime or bistable flow regime. And also because we use a gap between cylinder equal to 1d, so our solver or our result should be able to capture this flip-flopping phenomenon. Okay, this is the result for case 3 or test case with span weight equal to 6. The x-axis represent the dimensionless time or the simulation time, and then the y-axis represent the force coefficient for CD and CL. And then for the blue line is the result or the time series result for the CL for lower cylinder, and then green line the time series for CD for the lower cylinder, and then for orange lines is the time series for the CL for the upper cylinder, and the black line the time series for the CD for the upper cylinder. And our solver need around 200 dimensional stem to reach the flip-flopping flow regimes. We can see clearly in the flip-flopping flow regimes after dimensional stem equal to 200. For example, in the dimensional stem equal 250 until 300, in these regions, lower cylinder got into the wide wake, and then the upper cylinder got into the narrow wake. We can see the stronger oscillation of the aerodynamic force in the upper cylinder in this figure, and then we can compare with the lower cylinder with less oscillation of the CD and CL. And then after 300, the wake mode it's changed. For example, the lower cylinder changed to wide wake to the narrow wake, and then for the upper cylinder changed to the narrow wake to the wide wake, because the lower cylinder get in the stronger oscillations for the narrow wakes after 300, and then for the upper cylinder get into the less oscillation of the aerodynamic force after 300. And then if we capture or if we plot the instantaneous counter, we can see clearly the flip-flopping flow regime. For example, this result for the case 3, we capture the instantaneous U velocity contour for T equal to 400, and then for T equal to 1000. If we go back to the time series data for T equal to 400 in this figure, so for T equal to 400, we can investigate from this time series. Lower cylinder got into the narrow wake, and then the upper cylinder got into the wider wake, and then we can validate the result in the instantaneous velocity counter when upper cylinder got into the wider wake, and then lower cylinder got into the narrow wake. So yeah, lower cylinder narrow wake, and then upper cylinder wider wake. This one, the upper cylinder got into the wider wake and narrow wake. And then for the T equal to 1000, it's changed. If we look into the time series in the T equal to 1000, we can investigate that the lower cylinder get into the wider wake, and then the upper cylinder get into the narrow wake. And also, yes, and the lower cylinder get into the wider wake, and then the upper cylinder get into the narrow wake with the strong oscillation of the aerodynamic force. Okay, for the data comparison with published result, we use average value for the comparison with published result. We use CD and CL average, and then we use RMS value for CD and CL fluctuations. Last week, Ahmed has been presented about the useful utilities, column data utilities, and we can use that column data utilities to calculate the average and then the RMS of the fluctuation from this time series data. So we can easily choose the range of the calculations. For example, for this case, because for this case we should calculate the average only for narrow wake or only for wider wake. So we can choose the range of the calculation easily using column data utility. And then for the comparison for the published result, we can see that the average value or the RMS value for the narrow wake always greater than the wider wake. And the same pattern also happen in all of our result. The average and the RMS value from narrow wake always greater than a wider wake. So based on this result, we can confirm that also in the average result we can match the published result in the average CD and CL, and then the RMS of CD and CL fluctuations. Okay, for the clear investigation of flip-flopping flow regime or bistable flow regime, we can use the animation and then the time series data to identify clearly this flip-flopping flow regime. I render the animation from 935 until 995, and then I also zoom in the time series data with the same region. And start from the 935, the upper cylinder got into the narrow wake, and then until to the wider wake in the 995. And for the lower cylinder, and at the T star equal to 935, the lower cylinder got into the wider wake, and then goes to the narrow wake for the T star equal to 995. And then we can also identify in the animation the first for upper cylinder got into narrow wake, and then after 995 got changed into the wider wake, and then in the opposite happened in the lower wake. In the first lower wake got into the wider wake, and then changed into the narrow wake after 995. Then for the second validation case, we run vortex induced vibration of upper circular cylinder in a side-by-side arrangement. We allow the upper cylinder to vibrate in the 1 degree of freedom or in the y direction only. And the simulation parameter are the gap equal to 0.8, and then we use same Reynolds number as previous case, Reynolds number equal to 500, and then upstream, downstream, and then the lateral direction equal to 20, 30, and 40. And then we use mass ratio equal to 10, and then the damping ratio or zeta equal to 0.01. And then for this test case, we use 3 reduced velocity, 4, 4.5, and 5. Then for the boundary condition, we still use the same boundary condition, inlet uniform velocity at inlet, and then zero gradient at outlet, and then symmetry and periodic for lateral, and then for the spine-wise boundary. And then for the no-slip boundary condition, we add this velocity, structure velocity to the upper cylinder, because we set upper cylinder to move in the one direction only. And then for this case, we use 4 test case. The case 4 is the best test case, and then case 5 we try to refine only the span-wise, and then case 6 we try to refine only the span-wise grid, and then the case 7 we try to refine the grid near the cylinder, or we try to refine the Y plus. For the initial condition for VIV simulation, we use UR from rest initial condition. It means the VIV simulation is initialized using the solution from a fixed structure cylinder case. In our case, in the first 250 simulation time, we run flow path fixed structure simulation, and then after that we turn on or we activate the VIV solver after 250 dimensional time. Okay, before I present my result in VIV simulation, I will talk about this topic, the calculation method for time average maximum vibration amplitude. This in the left figure is the time series data, or the raw data of the time series data, and then the right figure is the selected data for the time average calculation. For this case, we select 60 vibration cycle. Why we select 60 vibration cycle? Because a published result also use the same cycle, so we try to match this cycle with the published result. And also we calculate this average data using column data utilities, and with these utilities we can also choose the number of the cycle, so we can directly calculate the average from the certain number of the cycle. These are the result for time average amplitude and then frequency ratio. The left figure is the time average amplitude over 60 cycle, and then the right figure is the frequency ratio. And we can see that case 4, 5, and 6 cannot reach the higher amplitude in the UR equal to 4, and then case 7 can reach the higher amplitude for the UR equal to 4. And then if we plot the pattern start from UR equal 4, 4.5 and 5, we got this result. And then we can see that only case 7 can approach the pattern of the published result from the Liu and Jamin, because the published result from Liu and Jamin got lock-in in the UR equal 4 until 5, and case 7 also got lock-in start for UR equal 4 and then until UR equal to 5, but the other case cannot get lock-in in the UR equal to 4. But and then for the frequency ratio, our result is very close with other published result for the UR equal 4 until UR equal to 5. Case 7 is a case with the fine grid in the near of the circular cylinder, or with the fine Y plus. Okay, based on the previous result, we try to run more point for case 4 and case 7. And then what the difference between case 4 and case 7? And the difference is only Y plus. It means that case 7 has a finer grid near the cylinder, and we can see the result. With the finer grid, we can approach the pattern or the response of the amplitude from the published result. But with the coarser grid, the response is very different, especially in the lock-in region, the starting point of the lock-in region, because with coarse grid we cannot capture the starting point of the lock-in region in UR equal to 4, but with fine grid we can capture the starting point of the lock-in region. And then also in the frequency ratio, our result also have good result in the lock-in region, but our result in the outside the lock-in region, especially in the higher UR, our result is got the under predict compared with the Liu and Jamin result. This is the result of the flow visualization of the wake structure of the vortex-induced vibration of upper circular cylinder in a set-by-set arrangement. We render this result using Crew criterion, and then we color it with the Z vorticity or the span-wise vorticity. We can see clearly that even we use Reynolds number equal to 500, but the flow visualization or the wake structure is fully 3D turbulent, because we can see the fluctuation in all direction, in X, Y, and in Z direction, or in span-wise directions. And also we can find the UR from rest initial condition in this animation, because we start with this simulation with flow pass fixed structure, and then after some dimensional stem we allow the upper cylinder to vibrate, and then we enter to the VIV simulation. Then for the conclusion, finally the DFIB method can capture the flip-flopping wake pattern in the flow pass to cylinder in a set-by-set arrangement. And then the average value of the aerodynamic force coefficient also match with the other published result. And then for the VIV case of upper circular cylinder in a set-by-set arrangement, and the grid refinement greatly affect the range of lock-in regions, especially the starting point of the lock-in regions. Then for the future work, we try to investigate the VIV response of multiple cylinder in a set-by-set arrangement at Reynolds number 500 for the use of the VIVS device. In the previous validation, we only allow upper cylinder to vibrate, but for future work, we try to allow all cylinders to vibrate together. And then we try to find the optimal gap for the range of UR in the upper branch region only. Because usually for the VIVS or for the energy harvesting device, we only consider in the upper branch region or the region with the higher vibration amplitude. Okay, this all for my presentation today, and thank you. And these are some reference for a cylinder in a set-by-set arrangement for VIV and also for the fixed structure.